guys, my name is Dave Goodyear. I'm here at the homestead at Flat Rock. Today it's a beautiful foggy April day. It's about 4 or 5 degrees Celsius, but what better time it is to start working on the garden. Before we begin, I'd like for you to reach out and follow us on Facebook. You can find us at FR_homestead on Instagram and Twitter, and the homestead at Flat Rock on YouTube. So moving forward, I guess with some of the plans in the garden this year are going to involve basically, no dig beds. So I built these particular beds about a year ago, 2 years ago, and they've actually held up really well, but I have other plans. So I plan on moving these, and I'm going to actually do a large no dig bed here instead, actually 2 beds. So these guys, luckily, are actually quite movable. They're just laying on top of the soil. With no dig, the plan is to mulch these areas in between, which are areas that were always a bit of a pain because I had to mow them. So with the no dig bed, it's going to be basically around 22 feet long. And there will be 2 beds. There will be one running parallel here, and there will be another one running right here. And then along with the cardboard mulch and this cardboard all the way around choking out this grass, the plan is that basically I'm going to have less maintenance on these beds. And rather than having hoops like these particular beds, which I use for brassicas, my plan is to actually just row cover the lot of the bed and then basically, keep it down with boards and rocks and whatnot to row cover. So this pea trellis needs to come out of it also. I normally put my peas here, but these are being relocated this year down into the other part of our garden. And so these guys are coming up, and I'm doing no dig on all of it. So for those of you that aren't familiar with no dig, it's basically what it says it is. There involves really no digging. Basically, you keep adding compost mulch on top of, I guess, the ground that you have. And so you're always amending the soil. And, the benefits are that supposedly, you end up with bigger yields, which is great, that's what we want, and potentially less work. And one of the things from the heavy mulching of compost is that it tends to choke out weeds like this mustard, which grows wild here, and it kind of tends to take over. And there are also various weeds like these that send out these rhizomes that tend to take over. Hey, guy. And the idea is that it's less weeding and less work overall to maintain the actual garden. So come back in a few minutes. I'm going to come back in a few minutes, and I'm going to have most of these guys taken out of it, and that'll be the first stage of the project completed. Alright, so that was pretty easy work. All I had to do was lift these guys up and push them that way. And now I've taken those raised beds down to another section of the garden. And this is what I'm left with. Basically 4 raised beds that are going to turn into a no-dig raised bed without wooden sides. So in order to do that, this area in between here is going to have to be mulched. And the rule of thumb is basically to use 2 layers of cardboard to, I guess, mulch out all of this grass to keep it from growing up through. So in order to actually prevent that grass from coming up through, that cardboard is going to have to go out here beyond that bed, probably pretty far. I would say maybe 6 inches to a foot. So the plan is to dig these edges back like so, and I'm going to insert the cardboard all the way along. So there's not really any reason to go beyond that with the mulch. The fact is that below here there's nothing but soil and dirt, so as you can see. So I'm going to basically mulch all of this right from there all the way across under this guy like that. and then outwards about 12 to 18 inches all the way around that bed. And that'll end up creating a mulched area that I'll probably put some wood chips on. And those wood chips will basically act as kind of a walkway around that. And I'll do the same thing actually up the middle of the bed, because I want two parallel beds running this way. And it's fairly wide. I mean, this is 7 feet, and workability is kind of hard when something is 7 feet wide. So I'll actually dig a trench down the middle here and separate this into kind of two 30-inch beds rather than one 7-foot bed. So there, like that. So now we can kind of imagine that this trench is going to go down between those two, and that'll be mulched with cardboard also, which will intersect with this, and hopefully mulch out all this grass and produce a bed that's basically 4, 7, 11, 14, 16, 19, 20, almost 23 feet. 23 feet long. So it actually adds quite a bit of grow space to these 4 individual beds, because I'm basically getting about 3 by 7 on every, so almost 21 square feet times 3, which gives me about 63 extra square feet of growing space. So I think that this is going to work out really well. Next time I'm going to present how I'm going to mulch all this, and I'm going to do the mulching with the cardboard. Thanks for joining us. Please follow along on Facebook. You can check us out on Instagram and Twitter at FR_homestead, and you can find us on YouTube at the Homestead at Flat Rock.